The day the laughter turned cruel. The laughter started before the bell even rang. It wasn't the happy kind. It was sharp, pointed, the kind that cut before you even knew it was meant for you. Ava Miller felt it before she heard it. She stood just inside the front doors of Lincoln Ridge High, fingers tightening around the strap of her backpack. The hallway buzzed with the usual chaos, lockers slamming, sneakers squeaking, voices overlapping. But beneath it all, something was wrong. Eyes turned. Whispers traveled faster than footsteps. Ava lowered her head instinctively. Her reflection stared back at her from the glass trophy case lining the wall. Pale skin, tired eyes, and a smooth, bald head covered only by a thin, sky-blue scarf. She swallowed. 6 months ago, she had hair that brushed her shoulders. 6 months ago, she worried about exams, college applications, normal teenage problems. 6 months ago, she didn't know the smell of hospital disinfectant or the sound of machines breathing for you when you're too weak to do it yourself. Cancer had changed everything. Yo, is that her? Ava flinched. She's back already? Thought chemo made you stay home or something. A giggle, then another. Ava kept walking, each step heavier than the last. She told herself she could do this. Her doctor said she was strong enough. Her mom cried when Ava insisted on coming back to school, but Ava needed this. Needed normal. Needed proof that cancer didn't get to decide who she was. But no one told her about this part. She reached her locker when the voice came louder, clearer. Hey, cue ball. The hallway went quiet. Ava froze. Slowly she turned. 3 girls stood a few lockers down, blocking the path. Perfect hair. Perfect makeup. Perfect cruelty. At the center was Madison Clark, the kind of girl teachers praised and students feared. Captain of the cheer squad. Daughter of the school board treasurer. Untouchable. Madison tilted her head, pretending to squint. Oh my God, I didn't even recognize you without hair. Is that permanent or just temporary embarrassment? Laughter exploded around them. Ava's chest tightened. I just want to get to class, Ava said softly. Madison stepped closer. Guys, hear that? She still talks like she's normal. The scarf slipped slightly as Ava moved, revealing more of her bare scalp. Madison's eyes lit up. Oh, wow, she said loudly. You didn't even bother with a wig? Ava's fingers trembled as she adjusted the scarf. I didn't want to, she whispered. Madison leaned in, voice dripping with fake concern. So brave. Seriously, like one of those inspirational hospital posters. Cancer survivor returns to school, still ugly. The hallway erupted. Ava felt something crack inside her. She turned to leave, but Madison grabbed the loose end of the scarf. Let's see it properly. With a sharp tug, the scarf came off. Gasps filled the hall. Ava screamed, not out loud, but inside, her breath vanished. Her knees buckled. Madison held the scarf up like a trophy. Guys, she's bald. Someone snapped a photo. Another student laughed too loud. Ava dropped to her knees, hands shaking as she tried to cover her head. Please, she said, voice breaking. Please stop. Madison smirked. What? You should own it. Didn't your doctor say confidence is important? That's when a voice cut through the crowd. That's enough. The laughter faltered. A tall black girl stepped forward from the edge of the hallway. She wore a simple hoodie, sneakers, no makeup, no cheerleader smile. Her eyes were calm, but sharp like they missed nothing. Her name was Nia Thompson. She wasn't popular. She wasn't loud. Most people barely noticed her. Until now. Madison scoffed. And who asked you? Nia didn't blink. I did. Madison laughed. This doesn't concern you. Nia walked past her and knelt beside Ava. Can I help you up? She asked gently. Ava nodded, tears streaming. As Nia helped Ava stand, Madison's smile vanished. Don't touch her, Madison snapped. You don't know what she's got. The hallway went dead silent. Nia turned slowly. What she has, Nia said quietly, is more strength than you'll ever understand. Madison rolled her eyes. Please. She's a freak. That word echoed. Freak. Nia straightened. And for the first time, There was something dangerous in her calm. She stepped closer to Madison. "Say it again," Nia said. Madison hesitated, just for a second. "Or what?" she challenged. Nia leaned in, voice low enough only Madison could hear. "Or everyone finds out what you did last spring." Madison's face drained of color. "What are you talking about?" she snapped, a little too fast. Nia smiled slightly. "Exactly." The bell rang. Students rushed off, buzzing with whispers. Madison stood frozen, gripping Ava's scarf. Nia reached out and took it from her hand. "We're not done," Madison hissed. Nia met her eyes. "No," she said calmly. "We're just starting." As Nia wrapped the scarf back around Ava's head and walked her down the hall, Madison watched, fear flickering behind her rage. Because for the first time, someone wasn't afraid of her, and she had no idea what Nia was about to do next. The price of speaking up. By lunch, the school had split cleanly in two. There were those who pretended nothing had happened, and those who couldn't stop talking about it. Ava sat at the far end of the cafeteria, hands wrapped tightly around a paper cup of water she hadn't touched. The room felt louder than usual. Forks scraped, chairs screeched. Laughter rose and fell in waves. Every sound felt amplified, like her nerves were exposed. She kept her eyes down. Nia sat across from her, posture relaxed but alert, like someone used to watching for trouble. "You don't have to stay here," Nia said quietly. "We can eat outside." Ava shook her head. "If I leave every time they stare, I'll never come back." Nia studied her for a moment, then nodded. "That's fair." Across the room, Madison Clark slammed her tray down at her usual table. Her friends leaned in immediately. "Did you hear what she said to me?" Madison hissed. "Threatened me, in front of everyone." Her friend Lily scoffed. "That girl? Please, she's nobody." Madison's jaw tightened. "Nobody doesn't look at you like they know something." She glanced across the cafeteria. Nia wasn't looking at her. That somehow made it worse. "Relax," another girl said. "What's she gonna do? Cry at you?" Madison forced a laugh, but it sounded brittle, because she knew something they didn't. Last spring, there had been a party. No teachers. No parents. Alcohol. Phones everywhere. And one moment, one stupid, cruel moment, that Madison had buried so deep she convinced herself it never happened. Until now, across the cafeteria, Ava suddenly pushed her tray away. "I feel sick," she whispered. Nia stood instantly. "Let's go." They barely made it into the hallway before Ava's knees buckled. She sank onto a bench, breath coming in shallow gasps. "I thought I was ready," Ava said, voice shaking. "I really did." Nia sat beside her, didn't touch her, just stayed. "You were," Nia said. "They weren't ready for you." Ava let out a hollow laugh that turned into a sob. "I hate that she saw me like that. Like I was less." Nia's voice was steady. "You're not less. You survived something that kills people. That scares people. That reminds them they're not invincible." Ava wiped her eyes. "Then why do I feel so small?" Nia hesitated, because she knew that feeling too well. "I used to ask myself that every day," Nia said quietly. Ava looked up. "What do you mean?" Nia didn't answer right away. The hallway filled with footsteps as students moved between classes. Somewhere, a locker slammed shut too hard. "People think silence means weakness," Nia finally said. "Sometimes it's just survival." Before Ava could respond, a voice cut through the noise. "Well, isn't this sweet?" Madison stood at the end of the hall, arms crossed, smile sharp. Cancer girl and her bodyguard. Nia stood slowly. "Walk away," Nia said. Madison laughed. "You don't get to tell me what to do." She stepped closer, heels clicking against the tile. "You embarrassed me this morning," Madison said. "Do you have any idea who my father is?" Nia didn't flinch. "Do you have any idea who you are?" Madison's smile vanished. "Careful," Madison snapped. "People who cross me don't end well." Ava stood too, hand shaking. "Just leave us alone." Madison turned her gaze on Ava, eyes cold. "Or what? You'll cry again? Drop to the floor?" Something inside Nia snapped. She stepped between them. You don't get to talk to her, Nia said. Not anymore. Madison leaned in, voice low and venomous. And you don't get to threaten me with lies. Nia met her stare. Was it a lie when you shave her head? Nia asked softly. Madison froze. The hallway went silent. What did you just say? Madison whispered. Nia's voice carried. Last spring. Bathroom. After gym. You and your friends cornered a freshman who shaved her head because of alopecia. You held her down. You filmed it. You posted it to a private group chat. Students nearby stopped walking. Phones slowly lowered. Madison's face turned white. That video disappeared, Madison said. Everyone knows that. Nia nodded. It disappeared online. She leaned closer, but not everywhere. Madison's eyes darted around. You're lying. I'm not, Nia said. And if you touch Ava again, I won't stay quiet. For a long moment, Madison said nothing. Then she laughed, too loud, too fast. Nice story, she said. You should audition for drama club. She turned sharply and walked away, but her hands were shaking. Ava stared at Nia. How did you know? Nia exhaled slowly. Because that girl was my cousin. Ava's breath caught. She transferred schools, Nia continued. Stopped talking for months. Tried to disappear. Ava whispered, I'm so sorry. Nia nodded. That's why I'm not sorry today. The rest of the day passed in fragments. Teachers pretended not to notice the tension. Students whispered. Ava felt eyes on her everywhere, but something was different. Some of those looks weren't cruel. They were ashamed. When the final bell rang, Ava hesitated at the doors. I don't want to go home yet, she said. Not like this. Nia nodded. There's an after-school art room. It's quiet. They walked together. Inside the empty room, sunlight filtered through tall windows. Paintings lined the walls. Half-finished sculptures stood forgotten. Ava sat at a table and stared at her reflection in a metal paint tray. I used to draw, she said, before treatment. Nia pulled out a chair. You can again. Ava shook her head. I don't know who I am anymore. Nia reached into her backpack and pulled out a folded piece of paper. Then maybe it's time to show them who you are. She unfolded it. It was a flyer. Student assembly. Open mic and stories of survival. Ava stared at it. No, I can't. You can, Nia said, and Madison knows it. Ava swallowed hard. What if she hurts me again? Nia met her eyes. Then she'll do it in front of everyone. Ava's phone buzzed. Unknown number. She opened the message. Stay quiet, or the next video will be yours. Ava's hands trembled. Nia read it. Her jaw tightened. They're not done, Ava whispered. Nia folded the flyer carefully. Neither are we. Outside the art room, footsteps paused. A shadow crossed the glass. Someone was listening. The truth doesn't whisper. The knock came just once. Soft, careful. Nia and Ava both froze inside the art room, eyes snapping toward the door's frosted glass panel. The shadow lingered on the other side, unmoving. Ava's heart pounded so loudly she was sure it could be heard. Don't open it, she whispered. Nia didn't move toward the door, but she didn't back away either. Who is it? Nia called out, voice steady. A pause. Then a familiar voice answered. It's Jordan, from history class. Nia exhaled and opened the door just enough to see him. Jordan stood awkwardly in the hallway, backpack slung over one shoulder, eyes darting like he was afraid of being seen. I saw Madison walking around, he said quickly. She was mad, like really mad. Ava's stomach tightened. Jordan hesitated, then blurted out, People are talking, not the usual stuff. Different talking. Nia stepped aside. Come in. Jordan slipped inside and shut the door behind him. She's trying to get ahead of something, he said. Madison, she's saying you two are making stuff up, that you're jealous, that Ava's using her illness for attention. Ava felt the words hit like slaps. I never asked for this, Ava whispered. Jordan nodded. I know. Some people know. But Madison's powerful. Her parents already emailed the principal. Nia's jaw tightened. About what? Jordan swallowed. About you? Silence filled the room. What about me? Nia asked. Jordan didn't meet her eyes. They're saying you're threatening students, that you're spreading rumors, that you're dangerous. Ava shot to her feet. That's not true. I know, Jordan said quickly. That's why I came. I heard them talking in the parking lot. Madison said if the assembly happens, she'll end this. Nia's expression didn't change, but something hardened behind her eyes. Thank you for telling us, she said. Jordan nodded, relief flickering across his face. Just be careful. After he left, Ava paced the room. She's flipping it, Ava said. She's turning herself into the victim. Nia leaned against the table, arms crossed. That's what people like her do, she said. They don't deny. They distract. Ava stopped pacing. What if she wins? Nia looked at her. Then we make sure she doesn't. Ava's phone buzzed again. Another message. Last warning. Assemblies can be very embarrassing. Attached was a blurred photo. Ava's hand shook as she zoomed in. It was her, kneeling in the hallway earlier that day, crying, head exposed. Someone had already taken it. Ava dropped the phone like it burned. I can't do this, she said, panic rising. I can't relive it in front of everyone. Nia picked up the phone gently and locked the screen. They already made it public, Nia said softly. The only difference is whether you get to tell your side. Ava's eyes filled with tears. I don't want to be strong anymore. I'm tired. Nia's voice lowered. I know. Ava looked at her. How? Because no one had ever said that to her before. Nia took a slow breath. When my cousin transferred schools, she said she stopped talking. Teachers thought she was being difficult. Kids thought she was weird. She wasn't. Nia's voice wavered, just barely. She was scared someone would laugh again. Ava sat slowly. They told her if she said anything, they'd make it worse, Nia continued. So she stayed quiet, and the world decided silence meant nothing happened. Nia met Ava's eyes. I won't let that happen again. Ava wiped her face. But what if they release something worse? Nia hesitated. Then she reached into her backpack again and pulled out a flash drive. I was hoping it wouldn't come to this, she said. Ava stared at it. What is that? Nia's voice was calm, but resolute. Insurance. The next morning, the school buzzed like a live wire. Posters for the student assembly had gone up overnight. Open mic, stories that matter. Madison stood near her locker, surrounded by her friends, smiling for all the wrong reasons. She won't do it, Madison said confidently. People like her never do. One of her friends frowned. What about Nia? Madison scoffed. She thinks she's scary. She's not. But when Madison turned, she saw Nia walking down the hall, alone, unhurried, eyes forward, their gazes locked. Madison's smile faltered. Nia didn't look away. For the first time, Madison felt it. Fear. By the time the assembly began, the auditorium was packed. Students filled every seat. Teachers lined the walls. Phones buzzed with anticipation. Ava stood backstage, fingers clenched so tightly her nails dug into her palms. I can't breathe, she whispered. Nia stood beside her. You don't have to speak if you don't want to. Ava shook her head. If I don't, she wins. Nia placed a hand on Ava's shoulder. You won't be alone. The principal stepped onto the stage. This assembly is about community, he began. About listening. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Madison sat in the front row, legs crossed, confidence on full display. The principal continued. Our first speaker is Ava Miller. The room shifted. Ava's legs felt numb as she stepped onto the stage. The lights were blinding. She scanned the audience. Faces blurred together, until she saw Madison smirk. Ava's throat closed. Then she saw something else. Students watching quietly, not laughing, waiting. Ava took the microphone. My name is Ava, she began, voice shaking. And 6 months ago, I was diagnosed with cancer. A hush fell over the room. Ava swallowed hard and kept going. I lost my hair. I lost my strength. I lost who I thought I was. She paused, breath trembling. But yesterday, I learned something worse than cancer is how people treat you when they think you're already broken. Gasps rippled. Madison shifted in her seat. Ava continued. I didn't choose this. And I shouldn't have to hide to make others comfortable. She reached up and slowly untied her scarf. The room went dead silent. Ava stood balled under the lights, shoulders trembling, but head held high. Madison's smile vanished. Ava looked straight at her. This is what survival looks like. Applause started, hesitant, then louder. Madison's phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Play the video. Now. Madison's fingers trembled. She looked up. Nia was standing near the stage steps, holding the flash drive, and she was walking toward the podium. When masks fall, the applause was still echoing when Nia stepped onto stage. The sound faded slowly, like a wave pulling back before something bigger crashed forward. Ava stood frozen beside the microphone, chest rising and falling, her bald head still bare beneath the lights. She hadn't planned to do that. She hadn't planned to be this brave. And yet, here she was. Nia didn't rush. Every step she took across the stage was deliberate. Calm, unafraid, the flash drive rested in her palm like it weighed nothing. Yet the entire room seemed to hold its breath because of it. Madison noticed first. Her blood ran cold. She looked around, expecting laughter, whispers, someone to jump up and stop this. But no one moved. Not the teachers, not the students, not even her friends. The principal frowned slightly. Nia, this isn't on the program. Nia met his eyes respectfully. I know. She turned to the audience. I wasn't going to speak today, Nia said. Her voice wasn't loud, but it carried. But sometimes silence is the most dangerous choice you can make. Madison stood abruptly. This is harassment, she shouted. You can't let her do this. The principal hesitated. Nia didn't look at Madison. She looked at Ava. You okay? She asked. Ava nodded, tears shining but unbroken. Nia turned back to the crowd. Yesterday, Nia said, someone was humiliated for surviving cancer. Today, that same person stood here and showed courage most of us will never have to learn. Soft murmurs rippled through the auditorium. But this didn't start yesterday, Nia continued. And it won't end today, unless the truth is allowed to speak. Madison's voice cracked. She's lying. Nia finally looked at her. You've said that before, Nia said quietly. Madison's hands clenched. Nia faced the principal again. I have evidence of repeated bullying, harassment, and assault carried out by a student at this school. Evidence that was silenced, hidden, and ignored. The room exploded into whispers. The principal stiffened. This is a serious claim. So is cancer, Nia replied, and so is trauma. She stepped toward the podium. I'm not here for revenge. I'm here because last time someone stayed quiet, they almost disappeared. Madison screamed, Turn that off. You can't show that. Her voice echoed too loudly. Too panicked. The principal raised a hand. Nia, if what you're saying is true, this needs to be handled privately. Nia nodded once. After this, she inserted the flash drive. The projector hummed. The screen behind him flickered to life. At first, it was just a dark frame. Then shaky video. A bathroom. Tiled walls. Laughter. Several students gasped as recognition spread. The video showed a girl pressed against a sink. Younger. Smaller. Her head was shaved, patchy, uneven. She cried, trying to cover her face as hands shoved her shoulders. A voice laughed. Smile for the camera. Another voice, Madison's. Do it again. She looked so stupid. Ava's breath caught sharply. Students covered their mouths. Teachers stared in horror. The girl on screen begged them to stop. They didn't. Madison collapsed back into her seat. No, she whispered. That's not what happened. The video ended. Silence followed. Not the awkward kind. The kind that crushes. The principal looked like he couldn't breathe. That video, Nia said calmly, Was reported last year. It vanished, but the damage didn't. She turned to the audience. That girl transferred schools. She stopped speaking for months. She blamed herself. Nia's voice finally trembled. She was my cousin. A collective gasp filled the room. Madison's friends slowly slid away from her, faces pale. The principal spoke, voice tight. "Madison Clark, is this true?" Madison stood, shaking. "They provoked me," she cried. "They were weird. They wanted attention." A murmur of anger spread. Ava stepped forward. Her voice was quiet, but it stopped everything. "I didn't want attention," Ava said. "I wanted to live." She turned to Madison. "You didn't break me," Ava continued. "You just showed everyone who you are." Madison's legs gave out. She sat back down, tears streaking her makeup. The principal straightened. "This assembly is over," he said. "Madison, you will come with me. Now." Two administrators moved toward her. Madison looked around wildly. No one met her eyes. As she was led away, she screamed back at Nia. "You think you won? You ruined me." Nia met her gaze, unwavering. "You did that yourself." After the auditorium emptied, Ava and Nia stood alone near the stage. Ava whispered, "Is it really over?" Nia shook her head gently. "Not yet." Ava frowned. "What do you mean?" Nia looked toward the exit doors, where the principal had disappeared with Madison. "People like her don't fall quietly," Nia said. "And consequences don't always feel like justice." Ava's phone buzzed. A notification from social media. The video was already spreading. Comments, arguments, support, hate. The school was on fire. Ava's hands trembled again. What if this makes everything worse? Nia placed a hand over hers. "Then we stand through that too." Across town, Madison sat in the principal's office, eyes red, phone buzzing nonstop. A message popped up from her father. "Get home. Now. We need to talk." Madison swallowed hard. Because for the first time in her life, her power was gone, and she had no idea what was waiting for her on the other side of the door. When the world answers back. Madison Clark had always believed consequences were for other people. They were for the girls who didn't know how to play the game right, for the kids without last names that opened doors, for the quiet ones who stayed quiet because they had no choice. Not for her. But as she sat in the back seat of her father's car, staring at her reflection in the darkened window, that belief began to crumble. Her phone buzzed nonstop in her lap. Former friends. Group chats gone silent. New messages she didn't recognize. Some angry, some disgusted, some terrified to be associated with her. The video had escaped the walls of the school. It spread faster than she could think, shared by students, parents, strangers, by people who recognized the pain on that girl's face because they'd lived it too. Her father drove in silence. When they finally stopped in the driveway, he didn't look at her. "Inside," he said. The front door closed with a sound that felt permanent. The next morning, Ava Miller woke up expecting dread. It had become routine, opening her eyes and bracing herself for whatever pain waited next. But instead, something unfamiliar filled her chest. Quiet. Her phone rested on a nightstand, screen lit with unread notifications. She hesitated before touching it. Then she opened it. Messages poured in. Strangers telling her she was brave. Students apologizing for laughing. A girl from another school saying she was starting chemo and didn't feel so alone anymore. Ava covered her mouth as tears streamed down her face. Downstairs, her mother stood in the kitchen holding her own phone, eyes red but shining. She saw it. Her mother said softly, "Everyone did." Ava nodded. Her mom stepped forward and wrapped her in a hug, holding her carefully, like she still might break. "I'm so proud of you," she whispered. Ava closed her eyes. For the first time in months, the word didn't feel heavy. At school, the hallways felt different. Not quieter, just to wear. When Ava walked in without her scarf, heads turned, but no one laughed. Some people smiled gently. Some looked ashamed. Others looked inspired. A girl Ava barely knew stopped her near her locker. "My brother has cancer. she said, voice shaking. Thank you for what you did. Ava swallowed and nodded. You're not alone. Across the hall, Nia leaned against a locker, watching it all unfold. You okay? Nia asked as Ava approached. Ava smiled. I think I am. The principal's announcement came over the intercom moments later. Students, effective immediately, Madison Clark is suspended pending further investigation. Counseling resources will be available for anyone affected by recent events. A murmur rolled through the building. Ava closed her eyes, not in relief but in release. Madison sat alone in her room, staring at the wall. Her cheer trophies were gone, her posters taken down. Her father had been called into meetings she wasn't allowed to attend. No one texted her anymore. For the first time, she felt what it was like to be powerless. And for the first time, she understood something she never had before. Silence didn't protect you. It just waited until it was too loud to ignore. Weeks passed. The school implemented new anti-bullying policies. Assemblies turned into real conversations. Counselors' offices stayed open late. Teachers listened harder. But the biggest change wasn't written anywhere. It lived in the way people looked at each other, in the way Ava walked taller, in the way Nia spoke without fear, in the way stories once hidden were finally allowed to exist. On the last day of school, Ava stood in the art room, staring at a large canvas. She had painted herself, not as she used to be, not as she was mocked to be, but as she was now, bald, smiling, unafraid. Nia stood beside her. You ever think about how close you were not speaking? Nia asked quietly. Ava nodded. Every day. Nia smiled. I'm glad you did. Ava turned to her. You saved me. Nia shook her head. No, you chose yourself. I just made sure the world heard it. Ava looked at the painting one last time. You think people really change? She asked. Nia considered that. I think truth gives them the chance to, she said. What they do with it is up to them. As they walked out together, sunlight flooding the hallway, Ava felt something settle inside her. Cancer hadn't taken her voice. Cruelty hadn't taken her dignity. Fear hadn't taken her future. And somewhere behind them, laughter echoed again, but this time it wasn't sharp. It was warm. It was human. It was earned.